The 10-day ceasefire agreed between Lebanon and Israel took effect in the central Lebanese province of Ket. But even as the clock struck the appointed hour, local media reported a round of gunfire, an uneasy beginning to what both sides hope will be a period of calm. Lebanese state media reported continued Israeli defense forces shelling of southern Lebanon. Those reports could not be immediately verified. But the Lebanese army, early on April 17th, reported several Israeli violations of the ceasefire. The army advised citizens to delay their return to their homes in the south, an area that has been the focus of Israel's offensive into Lebanon. The ceasefire was announced on April 16th by President Donald Trump and confirmed by the leaders of both Israel and Lebanon. The U.S. president said he expected to host the two leaders within a week or two. In a video statement, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu confirmed he had agreed to the 10-day ceasefire. He described it as a chance to forge a historic deal with Lebanon after decades of conflict. President Trump, in a post on social media after the deal was signed, addressed Hezbollah directly. "I hope Hezbollah does well in this critical time," Trump wrote. "This critical time will be a great time for them. But if they do, there will be no more killing. Finally, there must be peace." The message was carefully worded, neither an endorsement nor a condemnation, but a warning wrapped in hope. Lebanon accepted the deal before entering further negotiations. Crucially, Lebanon has agreed to disarm Hezbollah fighters, a demand that has been a cornerstone of Israeli and American policy for decades. As news of the ceasefire spread, ASB TV footage showed people returning to their homes in the southern city of Beirut. Some waved the yellow flag of the Iranian-backed Hezbollah movement. Others held photos of the group's leader, who was killed by Israeli forces in 2024. The images were powerful. A population emerging from weeks of conflict, returning to streets that had been emptied by war. But Hezbollah itself issued a warning. The group advised people to refrain from returning to the area until it was clear that the ceasefire would hold. Hezbollah also warned people not to fire weapons in celebration. In a statement, the group said that bullets should be aimed at the enemy, not fired into the air to celebrate. The message was clear. The war is not over. The enemy is still there, and vigilance must be maintained. Israel launched its strikes on Hezbollah on May 2nd of the previous year, the day after the US-Iraq war on Iran began. Hezbollah forces opened fire in support of Tehran, drawing Israel into a two-front conflict. The two-week ceasefire that had been implemented for the Iran-Iraq war had not yet been extended to Lebanon. Israel's military deployed its forces throughout southern Lebanon after the strikes and warned Lebanese people not to move south of the Litani River, an area approximately 20 to 30 kilometers north of the Israeli border. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres welcomed the announcement of the ceasefire and called on all parties to fully respect it. The Secretary-General's spokesman, Stephen Dujarric, issued a formal statement. The Secretary-General welcomes the announcement of a 10-day ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon, Dujarric said. He commends the United States' role in facilitating this move. The United States also indicated that a deal with Iran could be reached soon, following a meeting scheduled for the coming weekend. President Trump, speaking to reporters outside the White House on April 16th, expressed optimism about the parallel negotiations with Iran. "I think we are close to reaching a deal with Iran," Trump said. He expressed confidence that the 10-day ceasefire, which expires on April 22nd, would be extended. And if no agreement is reached, he suggested, the ceasefire would still be extended. Although he did not specify a timeframe, Trump reiterated his commitment to ending the broader conflict. He announced that he hoped to welcome Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Lebanese Prime Minister Najib Mikati together at the White House. Netanyahu, in his video message, confirmed his agreement to the 10-day ceasefire. He added that Israeli troops would remain in a fortified security zone to protect Israeli cities from attack. He stressed that Israel has two main demands. First, the complete disarmament of Hezbollah. Second, a peace agreement based on the ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon. The Speaker of the Iranian Parliament, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, received news of the ceasefire with careful attention. He said Iran would continue to monitor the situation in Lebanon and work to establish a lasting ceasefire. He considered the Lebanese ceasefire very important for Iran. For us, Khalibov said, the Lebanese ceasefire is equally important in Lebanon and in Iran. Khalibov led the Iranian delegation negotiating with the United States in talks held in Islamabad last week. Yesterday, he met with the head of the Lebanese army, General Joseph Aoun, who traveled to Iran as a mediator. But not everyone in Lebanon supports the deal. Nabi Berri, the Speaker of the Lebanese Parliament, said he considered any ties with Israel to be against the interests of the Lebanese people. Berri is a Hezbollah ally and is very close to the Iranian government. His opposition to normalizing relations with Israel is long-standing and deeply held. His statement suggests that even if the ceasefire holds, a broader peace agreement will face significant political obstacles within Lebanon. Iran has made Lebanon a condition for any deal with the United States. According to the Lebanese government, these conditions are being negotiated directly on Pakistani soil. The negotiations are complex. Iran wants guarantees that its interests in Lebanon, primarily through Hezbollah, will be protected. The United States wants Hezbollah disarmed. These two positions are fundamentally incompatible. The Lebanese Ministry of Health has released figures on the human cost of the conflict. The ministry's numbers do not distinguish between militants and civilians. According to the ministry, 2,196 people have been killed by Israeli defense forces in Lebanon since the fighting began. Among the dead are 26 women and 172 children. On the Israeli side, authorities say Hezbollah attacks have killed 2 civilians in Israel. Additionally, 13 Israeli soldiers have been killed in fighting with Hezbollah. The Israeli Defense Forces have destroyed the last bridge linking southern Lebanon to the rest of the country. This action has further isolated the southern region home to 3 major cities and raised fears among many Lebanese that this could lead to a long-term Israeli occupation of the area. IDF officials have previously stated that they intend to maintain security control over the territory even after the current war ends. New research, citing BBC News, suggests that towns and villages across southern Lebanon are being razed by IDF shelling. Approximately 3,700 homes have been completely destroyed. International reaction to the ceasefire has been strong. Canada's foreign minister called the truce an important step towards reducing tensions. He called on all parties to respect and fully implement the ceasefire to prevent further loss of life. Canada also reaffirmed its commitment to the disarmament of armed groups in Lebanon and to the full implementation of UN Security Council Resolution 1701, which calls for a zone free of armed personnel and weapons between the Litani River and the Israeli border. The 10-day ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon is a fragile peace. It began with gunfire. It continues under the shadow of ongoing Israeli military operations. It is threatened by Hezbollah's refusal to disarm, by Iran's influence, and by the deep political divisions within Lebanon itself. But it is also a chance to end decades of conflict, a chance to bring stability to Israel's northern border, a chance to prevent further loss of innocent life. President Trump has expressed hope that the ceasefire will be extended and that a broader peace agreement can be reached. The next 10 days will determine whether that hope becomes reality or whether the guns will begin firing again. The world is watching, and the people of Lebanon and Israel are waiting.